right, so we got a basketball game tonight. The NBA season has begun. This is the start of the special year, right? Joel and Paul George and Tyrese Maxey and the 76ers. Get your tickets. Look, the news came out yesterday that Joel is going to not just miss tonight, but miss this first week or so of the season. They'll reevaluate him this weekend. And Hugh, there was a lot of reaction in our show yesterday. Afternoon show had great debates all day about it. I listened to a lot of the morning show today on my way in. They were fired up. And here's where I'm at on this as we get ready for a new Sixers season, but it's the same old Sixers. I'm at the point now where I understand if they feel like this is their only way out of the situation to try to keep him healthy. The part that bothers me and why I don't agree with the Sixers holding him back the first week is they're not being transparent about what's going on. I don't trust them to keep him healthy anyway. And the biggest issue is why. No one answered the why. We're going to hear from Nick Nurse in a couple minutes. No one answered the why of why he's not playing tonight. If they had said, a couple weeks ago, hey, we're at the point now with his career, we think 50, 55 games is all he could play. We're going to have a plan here. We're going to map it out. He's going to play this many here, this many there, with the hope that he's ready for the postseason. Hugh, I may not have loved it, but I would have understood it, and I would have probably said, all right, this is where we're at. The reality is they're being vague about it.
Very vague.
Which they always are. And they're making me believe this is worse than they're letting on. I don't believe the Sixers at all. I remember when the Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts. There was a lot of debate for 2 weeks in the station about why. Well, what was that all about,
yeah,
right?
Why you draft the quarterback? You already just got one. Yep. And you got one you just paid, right?
And you know what there was? There was a lot of, look over here, it's this. There's a lot of, hey, don't worry, don't think about what it really might be. It's this. We want a cheap backup quarterback. And Hugh, I went back to, usually the simplest answer is the right answer, right? Mm-hmm. And the simplest answer here is not load management. It's not that they're trying to do this plan and not tell us till the day before the season. The simplest answer is there's something wrong, and they don't want to tell us. So do I agree with this? How could I agree with the plan that they haven't even told me? I can't agree. If I don't even know what you're doing, how can I? I don't agree with this because you're telling me he's healthy. You're telling me he's ready to go, and then he's not out there. This is another year where we head into it with the same situation. And I look at it like this. You may say, and I heard Spike yesterday saying, well, you got to keep him healthy for the full year. They tried the other way. They got to try this way. When I think about NBA champions, which is the whole goal here, teams play a lot together. We're already throwing the towel in that. They're not going to play much together this year. No back-to-backs for Joel or Paul George. And here we go. No Embiid to start the season. And you have to have a high seed. The Boston Celtics, I said this last year when I wanted to trade Embiid, and everyone got upset. They're the best team in the league by a lot. And they're off and running, playing it together. Dominated last night. They're probably going to win it again. And here we are trying to play catch-up whenever the heck Embiid comes back. Hugh, I'm frustrated, as you could hear. It's the same thing all over again. I don't trust the Sixers. I don't trust Embiid. And my gut is telling me he is more hurt than they're saying. And that's why I can't agree with this. If they just said he's hurt, he can't play, I'd have to accept it. But they won't even tell the truth, Hugh.
Yeah, and this is where it gets tough for me. Being a former athlete, understanding how it is to be hurt and play and try to put your team in the best position. But on the flip side of that, I'm a fan too. And I get a chance to listen to the fans. And when I assess some of the things that we talk about, I channel my inner fandom. And this is the tough part about it. I look at it like this. A lot of people were torn when Joel Embiid decided to play in the Olympics. Mm-hmm. I thought it was one of the greatest things you could possibly do. And they ended up winning the Olympics. Everybody got their signature shoe and all of this other good stuff, which was a great time. Now fast forward to the season. A lot of people were upset because they felt like this was probably going to happen. And so much so that we even talked about it. We talked about how if he plays in the Olympics after he's had his surgery, then he better be ready for the regular season. So the regular season is here. We have 3 games here in Philadelphia. And we have an Olympic champion that's on our squad that's not going to hit the court. I think about the people that have children, and it's a beautiful thing to see when they bring their kids to the game and they're wearing the Joel Embiid jersey and everything like that, and how disappointed. Family, men, the grown men and the women, they understand that. But it's the kids like, well, Dad, why ain't he playing?
Is he hurt? Well, no, I guess not.
Yeah, and the fact that this has been a pattern for Joel Embiid his whole career here, it feels like. That's the frustrating thing about it. I understand as a former athlete how it could be challenging, and you're looking at the bigger picture. We're playing chess, not checkers. But I was listening to the afternoon show yesterday, man. And sometimes when you think about what's being said, and then when math is actually put to it, then you're like, well, damn. I was thinking, 82 games in the regular NBA season, correct?
Yep.
So we're talking about a load management situation for Joel where he's going to probably play half the games. Paul George is already hurt. He's probably going to be in the same situation. So you're telling me, and we're saying that we're saving him for the playoffs. Continuity is a thing.
It is a huge thing.
Continuity is a thing. So when they start mathing that math.
The math.
And I'm thinking like, well, damn, he's going to miss probably half the games of the season. And he's going to miss the first 3 at the beginning of the season when people are, excited about the season starting, and you don't have your big 2 guys out there. And I understand Paul George being hurt. That's something totally different.
Yeah, he hyper-extended
it. Yeah.
We're not mad about that because we can get it. We saw it. They explained it. He went on his podcast and said, I'll be back soon. All right, we hope that's fine. This one, it's just so vague.
It's shady.
Yes.
That's the best way that I can describe it. It's shady in the sense that we didn't see it coming. We didn't, and on top of that, we have history with this, Joe. They were real shady about his diagnosis when he had the surgery.
Yep.
And the time that he would be back. So it's one of those things where it doesn't feel right. It just feels like more the same. And this is the coup de grace for all of this. The coup de grace is that you just gave Buddy a extension, 3-year extension to keep him here. And he's not even playing. That's a tough pill to swallow.
It is. He can't
tough pill to swallow.
He can't post for the first game. 215-592-9494. Do you agree with the Sixers' decision to sit Joel Embiid out to start the season? I think the messaging is a disgrace. The reality of what's going on here is sobering because there's a lot of Joel Embiid people out there living La La Land. Like Joel Embiid La La Land is an interesting place. I've never been there, but I know a lot of you live there. We got to wake up. I mean, this is crazy. He can't post for the first game of the season, which means he's hurt. Or they're lying. I mean, either way, it's annoying to me. Let's hear Nick Nurse yesterday as he's now fulfilling the Brett Brown, Doc Rivers role of spokesperson, and he's not enjoying himself. I could hear it in his voice. Nurse asked, is Joel Embiid injured? Here's how he answered that.
For clarification, is he injured, or is this more a long-term preventative thing with Joel?
This is getting him to where he needs to be to get him on the court.
When you're asked the question, is a player injured, and you don't answer with a no or a yes, Hugh, you're dancing, you're tap dancing there.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of tap dancing.
Yeah, we all tap dance once in a while. Nick Nurse did some tap dancing yesterday. All right, how about this one? Because I think these are fair questions. Okay, so we know he was healthy, right? Healthy enough to play in the Olympics. He had when was his surgery? Was it last January, last February? Right around there, right?
Early, yeah.
And he came back for the playoffs. Think about this for a second, everyone. He has played 2 of the most competitive types of basketball since his surgery. He ramped back up for the playoffs, and he gave what he could. Obviously, wasn't enough. They couldn't win, but he gave a lot. And then he ramped up for the Olympics. And now, apparently, he's not ready for this. It doesn't make any sense. So, did he have a setback? Did something happen? Here's Nick Nurse on that.
About ramp up, but was there any setback that he had with the Olympics? Because he was able to come back, and now all of a sudden he's, ramping up.
There's been no setbacks. No, we've again, he's really active. He's lost some weight. He's out on the court, etc. Just kind of sticking with our plan of making sure we're getting him in a really, really good place before we get him playing live.
Is there a concern with, the Eastern Conference is stacked. You have guys right now. Joel already said he doesn't want to play in back-to-back. That's missing 15 games. You're taking it lightly with PG as well. Is there any concern that, you guys aren't going to have enough continuity by the time the postseason comes around, or you may not be in the seed that you would prefer heading into the playoffs?
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, look away. Not quite yet. They should be concerned about it. The Eastern Conference is good, and the Sixers are going to give themselves a difficult path doing it this way by being the 4 or 5 seed or whatever they're going to be with these guys not playing. Yeah, one more from Nick Nurse here, as he is probably as exasperated as the rest of us trying to figure out how to coach this basketball team.
Nick, I think to that point, when people hear you guys have a plan, they think of those things like not playing back-to-backs, resting into the middle of the season. But without any kind of setback, I'm just saying he's on schedule throughout the preseason. How do we square that he's not ready to just play games? Just trying to figure out. Because it's not like the regular season opener snuck up on you guys.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to you. Right? He's in practice. He's looking good. He's progressing. He's not quite ready yet. He'll be ready pretty soon.
Is the
I don't know what else to say to you.
And there it is. We've reached the stage of Nick Nurse's coaching career with the Sixers where he throws his hands up and says, I don't know what to tell you. He's living the life that Doc lived and Brett Brown lived. I don't know.
Well, it sounds to me like when you listen to it like that there's somebody else in this situation calling the shots.
Not him.
He's just relaying the message. It's an unfortunate position to be in. But all I can think of is they gave him a ton of bread. They've made him the guy that has the big piece of chicken, and there's nothing you can do about that, Joe.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, I don't know what else to say because that's what it sounds like. He was as transparent as you could possibly be in a situation like this. He doesn't have the answers. For all that he knows is that it feels like Joel Embiid is ready to go, but somebody's saying to Joel Embiid or Joel Embiid is saying, I'm not going. I don't feel like going. So he's taking his time he's taking these 3 games, and he's doing what he feels is best for Joel Embiid.
Well, 3 games for now. They're going to reevaluate this weekend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and it might be more.
Yeah, well, probably will. And with the Sixers, you could bet on the over when it comes to games missed. 215-592-9494. Do you agree with the Sixers' decision to hold Joel Embiid out to start the season? No. I mean, I don't, because they won't even tell me what this is about. How could I agree with something I don't even understand? They're either being not transparent or they're flat out lying. And by the way, when he said this is all part of the plan, the Sixers should be ashamed of themselves. People spend a lot of money for opening night tickets with the assumption or the hope Joel Embiid would play. They knew probably 2 weeks ago he wasn't playing in this game, and they didn't say it till yesterday. Shame on the Sixers.